We're live. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's having an enjoyable Sunday today. It's abnormally hot here in Rapid City, which...
What's the temperature?
It's like 91. We're used to like summers, 70s, 80s, so this is kind of hot for us. But we're excited to talk to you guys today. What an awesome message Shannon and Josh had last week. I loved hearing about all the service that's been done to them, and it was so cool to be there. We were there for 3 weeks and to witness the service that was done to them, because it not only touched them, but it touched me. Being her sister, someone who loves her, to know that people were reaching out in love and service to them just really touched my heart, and it was really, really neat. So I know there's probably some new people following and watching, so we thought we'd reintroduce ourselves. Stacy Nehrings, Josh Nehrings. We lost our daughter 3 years ago. Will be August 26th in a car accident.
That's Lily behind us there.
Yeah, right there.
Trying to get the light off of her.
Okay. So that's been obviously a really, really hard journey, but and it still hurts, and you still have your bad days, but we wanted to talk today about how, just like Shannon and Josh have talked about how service has helped them. I truly believe, and I posted in our past posts, that service truly does mend a broken heart. It has been such a wonderful thing in our lives, and I have got to go lock the door because we have kids going crazy.
Child management.
Sorry about that. So, did you want to say anything else about anything?
Well, I think from just one of the most basic and natural tendencies for all of us, I don't think that we can even avoid it, is we're hardwired to serve. Every action that we do is hardwired and dedicated to serve. You're either serving yourself or you're serving others, and you're either serving yourself in a positive way or serving yourself in a bad way. Selfishly, that's usually not good ways. And when you do actions unto others, those can either be good actions or those can be bad actions. And even bad actions are a form of self-service when you're losing your temper or taking your agenda out on somebody else. That's a self-serving, but it still is a hard wire. Everything we do is a type of service. And so I'm just thinking that, like Josh and Shannon expressed last week, the very instant that people became aware that there was even an accident that Stacy and the children were in, people started looking for opportunities to serve. I had friends come and be with me, and one friend drove with me all the way down to Wheatland, Wyoming, and then over to the hospital, stayed that night with us. So in the very instant that there's a need, many of us have a basic hardwired desire to help when there's a known need. A baby cry is one of those, I think, good examples of that. There are maybe some of us, but there are few of us who, when we see a little child that needs to be comforted or that cries, we want to reach out to them. We want to reach out. We want to serve. And those types of things just happen naturally. And I think that in the time of crisis or in a time of loss or in a time of grief, there's many opportunities that people see and are inclined to serve. That day, I was up here in Rapid City. Stacy was on her way up from Denver with the children. And so I had to get down to where the accident well, where the children, half of the children were taken to Wyoming, and then half of the family was taken to Nebraska, which was an hour and a half apart, an hour and a half or so apart from one another, these two hospitals. And I was, if you don't stop and have any interruptions, I was a good 3.5, 4 hours away from the first hospital. But stopping wise, it took me hours to get down there. And all along the way, people were serving Stacy and the children. There were people serving me on that drive, people calling, people praying, people reaching out. My friend that was with me, one of our friends owns an auto body shop, and without even thinking about it, he was in his vehicle with his truck the very next morning, because he knows that industry, and he went and he picked our vehicle up, which was a huge headache. So I just, like Josh and Shannon described last week, and I told them I couldn't even keep up. That's the reason, one of the reasons I suggested to make a poster or place in the house they could just quickly write things down. I started trying to make a list of things that happened, and I honestly, within 48 hours, I could not keep up with all of the things that people were doing, and that has been, and it just, so much happened. And
yeah, so I just wanted to name like a couple things, and I know that I won't touch everything because there was so much. And so just one of the things, our youngest son's birthday was close to the funeral date, and so I had friends that brought over a birthday banner. They brought over balloons and presents and cupcakes, because there's no way I could have even brought myself to even think about that or even get that done. So wow is all I gotta say. That, like, everything, as I've told many people, every one of those things will never be forgotten. They'll be like etched into my heart forever, and whenever I think about it, I always get so teary-eyed because it helps so much. And another thing, and I think we mentioned in one of our first videos, was we were starting to expand our deck. And so we just had a whole crew of guys just come over and say, we're going to pay for all the wood and we're going to build your deck. And so during the day and the nights, I would hear those nails pounding in the wood, and every one of those nails and that whole deck is such a reminder to me of service and love and reaching out when we were so in need. And when we got back from the hospital, I had friends that had come and cleaned the house, stocked my fridge, brought snacks, did our laundry, left notes and sweet cards everywhere, and wow,
did all the yard work. Did
the yard work, and just, I remember it was kind of probably maybe a month, I don't even know what the time was because it's such a blur, but this friend of mine, she just showed up with a box of tomatoes, and that might seem like nothing, but it was huge. And the cards and the gifts and the text messages, I would just, at night, Josh would just bring piles of cards home, and I would just sit there just bawling because of the love that radiated from that card, from and it wasn't like they were writing eloquent words, but it was the love and kindness that we could feel from each one of those cards was just amazing. And there's hundreds of other things.
Yeah, literally there.
And the flowers that came, there's just so much that was done for us. And so
people that traveled,
yeah,
that were totally not expected to travel, but people that went great distances without any reservations, without any even reaching out. They just were here, and it was awesome. It was amazing.
And so that kind of, well, it did. Just the overwhelming of love and kindness given to us. We knew that we wanted to, Lily's legacy of kindness, because she really was such a kind person. She was one of those old souls that I almost would be like, are you for real? Because she would just, like, if I had a to-do list, and then one of those things I remember was to make cookies. And I was running another errand. I come back and she's making cookies with her little brother. Or I was sitting there, I have really dry feet. She's like, Mom, I'll wrap those for you and put saran wrap and Vaseline or whatever on my feet. And she would just always light up the room and look for those people who needed a friend and be their friend. Like, she was a friend to her teachers down to like the youngest child, and she could relate. I remember her teachers one time saying, like, it's so nice to have Lily in class, it's like have another adult in the class. So we just really wanted to spread her legacy. And one thing she did do in her 6th grade, so she finished 6th grade, and then that summer in August she passed away. And in 6th grade in her English class she wrote an essay, and it was put into like a Rotary competition, and we didn't even know she was writing it until she came to us and said, Mom, I won first place, I won $100. And so I read it then, and it was the 4-way test and how you can really make the world a better place. And she said to spread kindness. She said, let's spread the joy of doing good. Little acts of kindness like smiling, opening the door for someone. And she talked about how our words have so much power. And so really we knew, and she was speaking about who she really was. Like, that was Lily. And so it was almost like a letter to us saying, Mom, this is what you need to do. I'm really emotional today. This is what you need to do. And so we knew that we wanted her legacy to live on. And so I was like, well, she loved to dance, and how cool would it be to have give other girls the opportunity that wouldn't have the chance to dance because of price or the expense of it, to give them that opportunity. So I called up her dance studio, Prima Dance, and I said, this is what I want to do. And they said, oh my goodness, we already we perform for Girls Inc., which is part of Youth and Family Services, and so we could have those girls receive this scholarship. And I said that would be awesome. So we came up with essay questions, and then the lady Shelley Flack there, she is awesome, and she's worked awesomely with us, and so we got that put together. And so when the Prima Dance girls went and performed for all those girls at Girls Inc., and it was like November was the time of year, maybe December?
Our first one was December 8th.
December 8th. And so when we went there, the girls performed, and we got to read the essays, and we chose a girl that we wanted to give a scholarship to, and then Prima Dance said they wanted to give one, and then her point teacher said they wanted to give one. So we had 3 scholarships that we planned on giving that evening. And so we gave those 3 scholarships, and it was so awesome, and some of the girls were crying, and it was just being December, it was like this Christmas gift to us to see the joy on their face and to know that they were going to have the chance to dance. And then after the whole event, we had 3 families from the girls that danced at Girls Inc. saying they wanted to sponsor 3 more girls. So in the end, we had 6 girls that were able to receive a scholarship. And the whole see good, do good, share good was totally illustrated in that event, because the people saw the good, they wanted to do the good, and they shared it by giving that scholarship.
And that event for me, I get emotional just in the goosebumps just thinking about it. That event for me ratified that we were headed in the right direction, and that the see good, do good, and share good, it's a cycle, it's a process, and that it's addicting in a good way. It's contagious in a good way. And every event that we've had since then has that same element, that same spirit, that same excitement. And people helped us with that, just like with that event, the service of the dance teacher and the company wanting and willing to help serve or partner with us in serving the community.
That was huge.
And Girls Inc. wanting to let us serve was huge. And then we did Lily had a connection with a teacher, cross-country teacher, cross-country coach. Her, how am I messing this up? She had a relationship with her cross-country coach's father, who knew her from grade school.
Yeah, he was her
part of the
PE
running
teacher.
club. Anyway, he passed away in January of 2018, and not even a year, just a few months. And Marshall, his son, was Lily's cross-country coach. They talked about doing a run for Lily, and we thought that was a good idea. But when his dad passed away, it was clear to me that the run needed to be about Coach Kamestead, not Lily.
Because he was the one that had like set records in running and stuff.
And that the Live Like Lily, or the Lily Foundation, would support that run. And so we got an opportunity there to serve in that venue, to give back to the Kamestead family, who's done so much for our family. And the army of volunteers again that we've had to put these events on. We
could for sure could not have done it without them.
And
I wish I could just
it takes service, everybody joining hands together. And the first year,
the money that we raised from the run went to a track athlete. That needed it.
Lauren Kamestead went to Northern State University here in South Dakota. That's where his alma mater is. So the Kamestead family set up a scholarship fund in his name, or in honor of him, that would provide a full ride scholarship for a track student that demonstrated a financial need. So the run that we did the first year, which we had about 100 and something people show up, and it was kind of a free will offering for people could pay for a t-shirt or something, but then offer donations towards the scholarship. And we raised more than enough to pay for the scholarship and to cover all of the expenses of the event. And then last year we probably close to tripled the attendees, and the community really got behind it. This year, COVID craziness has kind of put a kibosh on all of that.
Couldn't do it this year, but
anyways, those events have been very therapeutic for me, to meet people in my community, to get to meet some of the people that have been praying for our family, to get to meet some of the people that have been and continue to be affected and made their lives made better through Lily. Even though Lily's not here physically, their lives continue to be blessed through their efforts to support the Lily campaign. And then tell them about the Look Up ad. It was a service.
Yeah, so I just had really been like, what else can we do in the community? And I really felt like the whole social media-ish epidemic that's plaguing lots of youth and stuff like that. Lily never had a phone, and I kind of attribute her happiness and her
innocence.
Innocence, yeah. Anyways, and so I just really, had done some reading on just the problems that social media and phones and anything
you guys know it. You don't have to look far at all. Look beyond your own hand, and everybody can see the issue. So I know, and I knew we can't just get rid of phones. This world, that's what we use, but obviously there's limits, and there's just different things that you can put into place for your own families. But so I just thought, how cool would it be to start a Look Up ad campaign where youth could create a poster that the whole theme of it was look up, life exists beyond your phone. And so that was the theme that we gave them, and then they could use digital photography, they could draw, anything like that, and create a poster. And so we had a lot of entries, and we were able to give the winner a cash prize, and they got their poster up on a billboard in Rapid City,
and we gave second and third prizes, and then some honorary winners, and then we printed all of the entries that we got, and we put them up in the schools. And so I just thought, if people see this, it'll make them think. At least it'll make them think about what they're doing on their phone and how they can, there's a whole life to live outside your phone. So.
Well, it was a service that we felt like we could give to the community, and we partnered that event with bringing Colin Karchner to Rapid City to go and visit with all of the middle schools in Rapid City and talk about the dangers and how to use, if you're going to use it, to use it for good.
Yeah.
And so that fell right in stride with our See Good, Do Good, and Share Good message, and that was awesome for the community. We went around with Colin that day, and I know that there are definitely individuals that were served that day by his presence.
And if you don't know who he is, he's an influencer. You can find him on Instagram, and he's just really big on the dangers of the social media and how we can teach our youth better to use appropriate apps, use your phone appropriately. And he was really good. He had them laughing, he had them crying. He has so many messages from youth that how he's opened their eyes and kind of like given them like a whoa, like what am I doing on my phone? And so it was really, really, really neat to have him here.
One of the other ideas that we've been able to do 2 years in a row now, Stacy found out about Day of Giving, which is the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, or Giving Tuesday, sorry, I always
after
miss it.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, it's the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving, so you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday. And at Southwest Middle School, where Lily went in 2018, Stacy and her army of volunteers went there, and they tried to encourage the students that day to do kind things, and that for every kind act that they did and recorded, a local business would sponsor them and pay $1 for each act of kindness that was done. And they did, I think, almost 1,000 acts of kindness that day that were recorded. And then last year, we tried to grow that, which was really fantastic. So we had all of the middle schools in Rapid City participate. 5. And we struggled with the high schools a little bit. But anyways, we had 10 schools that we could potentially participate. But out of those 10 schools, we ended up doing just shy of 4,000 acts of kindness in one day. And then each of those schools had a corporate sponsor, and each of those corporate sponsors the schools were able to select a group back in our computer, a nonprofit like
in our community,
in our community to give that money to, so that gave the opportunity to the youth to serve through doing kindness, just like Lily had wrote in her essay, or how she had written about just doing little acts of kindness. So, and I'm just, as I'm sitting here thinking, some people might be thinking, wow, you guys have done a lot of big events. Some of them have been, all of them have been big in terms of meaning, and we've just kind of went with what comes, and I think that's like Shannon with the blankets for babes. That's an idea that worked for her. It works for her because of the connection that Layla had with blankets. They showed up and Layla had nothing on, and they needed something, and babies show up at hospitals like that all the time. So I really like that. And as these ideas, I would hope that nobody gets discouraged, or we're certainly not, certainly there's no looking up to us in terms of, we're just kind of doing what has come to our mind and then trying to put some pieces in. And I really feel, and this may be a little bit more on the spiritual side of things, but I really feel that Lily and others have been instrumental in partnering with us, that as these ideas have come to our mind, and then we give place in our heart for them, and that we don't cast them out by our fear or our doubt, but that we just open up our minds to the opportunity to serve. Ways are opened up for that service to happen, way beyond our ability, way beyond our connections. People are brought into our lives at just the right time to make the things and the events come off. And it's not coincidence to me that these things happen. And I think that there's miracles that happen in service. And I like what Josh and Shannon said last week, and it's a term that we've used several times as we've talked as couples. Service really is the action word of love. And we love these people that we've lost. And the best way that we can love them is to love other people through service. So with our mission, I mean, that is at the very heart of everything that we want to do. See good, do good, and share good. Those are three little phrases that just describe service in a little way. And it's cyclical. It's impossible to truly serve somebody and you not be a recipient of that service yourself. It's impossible to be served and you not want to serve other people or to love other people more. It's impossible to observe good being done and not want to do good yourself or to share that good in some way.
Yeah. And for sure, I've said it all along, is that working on the foundation and on the projects that we've done has truly been therapeutic. It's been hard. It's not just been like, oh, this is going to work out perfect. Like, you know, I'm no expert on all of these things that we've done, but as we've just done them and had people's help and input and people willing, like the schools willing to allow us to do these days of kindness, like I never would have, before this all happened, I never would have done this.
Well, you wouldn't have had the ideas come.
I wouldn't have had, but I just would have been like, I guess the pain gave me like the push. Sometimes it pushed me down, but sometimes it gave me, and most of the time it pushed me forward.
Well, Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, right? The Shoe Dog book, he has a quote in there. I just love it. Stacy shared it with us. And he said, seek a calling in life. And when you lose somebody, I mean, that's, you have a calling. When you lose somebody close, when you lose somebody young, when you have that traumatic, you gain a calling in that moment because you are now on a different path for the rest of your life. You will never walk the same way through life as you did prior to that loss. But your ability, because of that new road, you can join hands with many others who are forced to walk that same road. But anyways, he says, seek a calling. And he says, when you seek a calling, don't worry about what that is or how it might happen. He says, dream big and just do it. And he says, when you get crushed with discouragement or fear or whatever,
or naysayers,
let that or naysayers.
It's probably a good thing to keep going.
Let that fuel your fire to move on. And you might have some amazing lows, but he says there will be nothing. I'm butchering his statement, but there will be nothing like the highs that you receive when you have those good moments. And
they're higher than high. Like
when we've done these events, I am on top of the world. Literally just feel amazing. I feel close to Lily. I feel satisfied. I feel a little bit of healing. So we want, in sharing what we're sharing, the reason we are sharing why these things, together with Josh and Shannon, and this month is kind of our first one with the Blankets for Babes, we want to create venues, which we have already locally. We've developed some models that if you in your own community, for those that you have lost, you can create your own. We have a little Live Like Lily, or they have Love Like Layla, Jump Like Jake, whatever it might be. We want to support you, and we want to provide models that can be written up, that you can directly contact us, that we can get you, and they're pretty simple models, but they're very effective, and they're models that I'm confident will work maybe a little differently, but they'll work effectively in any community that wants to implement them. And so that's our hope in sharing this, is that we've done some work, we've had some great experiences, and we want these models to be replicated, not in behalf of Lily, but in behalf of those that you've lost.
And I think, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So also, like, what talents or passions or things that you love to do could you use to help your community? Use that too. Be thinking about that too.
Whether it may be an occupation or a profession or a hobby,
or like this whole blanket,
or a skill.
This whole blankets for babes. Like, if you love to crochet blankets, how awesome! Use that talent to do this. And yeah.
When we reached out to a local foundation here, that it's called the Black Hills Area Community Foundation, and they have amazing networks in this area, and they showed us the list of opportunities for service. Oh my goodness, talk about overwhelming. There is so much and so many people that need help. So if you, in any community, I'm confident that we can find a need. One of the girls that, her name's Anna, she passed away right a little before Lily. She used to go and walk dogs at the Humane Society, and so their family has continued to do that. But I mean, service can look so different wherever you are, but we want to encourage you to find an idea and share that idea with us, and we would love to help you build that model and support that model in your community for those that you've lost.
So as Shannon has done the video on the how-to kind of for the blankets for babes, that's what we're gonna start out as for the July service. And I think she did a really good job on that. And so basically, you just call your hospital, ask them their needs, and if they have any, I guess with COVID, there might be some different precautions you have to take. And then just ask your friends. Like, that's basically what I did when I needed help. I asked my friends, would you like to be involved with this? And it was an overwhelming yes. And then I said, okay, you can drop them off at my house, or you could, I think that's the best way to do it, is have one person take it, or if you all wanted to go and take it, but I guess with COVID, that's another restriction.
Can I just say?
Go ahead.
I think the magic and the miracles happen because it gives you a venue to love others through the love that you have for those that you've lost, and you're going to be surrounded by people that want to help you because they want to serve you, they want to mourn with you, and one of the best ways they can mourn with you is to serve with you, to reach out in love in what you are interested in. You don't even have to find people that are necessarily interested in what you're doing. The people that want to love and support and serve you, they will want to do what you do because they want to mourn with you and they want to support
and I think
you in your journey.
Them helping you serve is going to help heal them too, because
for sure.
Hurts them to see you hurt and to lose whoever you've lost. If they knew them, even if they didn't, they love you and they care about you. So
do we have a time each month?
So it's the last week of July. And
I'm saying each month, though. We're going to do the last week of each month, and each month we're going to pick a service project.
Yes. And so if you have an idea of what you'd like to do in your community, reach out to us, and then because that's so. I guess where
we would love to do, if you want to do something in your community and want to have that duplicated all across the country,
that's what the whole.
we want to
And the
make that
nation.
we want to make that happen.
We want the nation too.
Yeah, we want to make that
And like
happen.
what I picture is like the whole, map of the world, and everyone's doing this service on this last day of the month or last week of the month, and so we have hearts in all of these places across the world. Shannon got a message from someone in the UK saying they wanted to do it in remembrance of Lily and Layla, and so Canada. So just imagine how awesome that we have these hearts all over the world doing service in memory of those we've lost.
Do they have any idea what the heart is?
Oh, so we do. So service is the action word of love. So we have a heart.
Maybe you can see the heart up there, the smiley
That's
face.
what it
Whoops,
is.
sorry.
Um,
There's a little smiley face heart on the end of Lily. So those are the hearts that we're talking about. But that heart, it's not, it doesn't have to be named Lily. That heart can go with whoever it is that you've lost. And we want to. So there's a little fact, and do you have
So
how much more do you have to close? We got to get done. I want to share this one thought.
Okay, so I was just saying,
You get to share
the
a
model.
thought, and I get to share a thought.
Yeah, the model of this, when I was Lily was a little 1-year-old, there was a lady in my community that had started this thing called Mommy's Making a Difference. Once a month, we did a service project, we got together, and we just had our kids there to try to model what service was. And so I loved it, was involved in it, and then I took it to Virginia, and I took it to Lincoln, and we did it for a year. I think it was the year after Lily passed away, and so everyone just took I had friends, and I said, take a month and you pick what the service is going to be. So this is what we're trying to do with all of you, is to, if you have an idea, we'd love to do it in our community with you.
But we'd love to have you take the,
give
us ideas.
Yeah,
and if you want to take the lead, you can. If you want to be us to support it.
And then send your pictures, videos of what you've done, and we want to make a video of it, and then have a picture of a map of the world, and have all these hearts. How awesome would that be? Amazing.
So the summer before Lily passed away, I had a unique experience. I was in the Tetons with the Boy Scouts, and we were up on the very, very top, and the only water we could have to drink was what we collected from the snow or the little streams. And it was a heavy snow year, and there was not a lot of runoff in some places, and so you're just catching drips at a time. And then at the tail end of that week, we hiked down out of the Tetons into Teton Village, and there's this massive river, and it was deafening because there was so much water running in it. And when I was at the bottom of that river and I heard all that noise, I just was so overwhelmed, and I saw in vision, in my mind, I saw in vision that every droplet was an act of kindness. That though it was small, way very up on the top, but that when all of those drops combined together, its power was impressive. And that force for good, that I know that we can move forward across the earth and truly make the world a better place through our loss. And that these people that we've lost, in honor of them, that we can hold their picture up and say, we're here because of the life that we're trying to honor for Lily, or for Liam or for Kevin, or
Wesley,
for Susan, or whatever it might be in your life. You take that person and you serve in honor of those people, and the good, all of those droplets combined together can become a raging river for good. And that goodness will knock down barriers that cannot be knocked down any other way. It will join and bridge people together that can't be bridged any other way. And it will just be a massive force for good.
And it will help you in ways that you never thought possible through this loss of your loved one. And what just keeps coming to my mind is the last few lines of Lily's essay and we have it on her headstone. Let's spread the joy of doing good. You had the power all along, my dear Glinda the Good Witch. That's how she ended her essay. But we do. We have the power. We have so much power to do good. And I just know that as we join forces and even just do it in our little community, in our own communities, that and we see the impact all over the nation, all over the world, our hearts will even be fuller.
Yeah.
So, see good, do good, share good, and remember to join us with this service project. Call your hospital, collect blankets and clothes, and then donate there in memory of someone you've lost. And I can't wait to see the results.
And hopefully by the end of this month, we've got some exciting things that we've tried to get together for a logo. We've kind of been a little ambiguous on some of our descriptions intentionally, but we've got some things
Coming.
that we want to
Excited.
introduce and bring together at the end of this month, that we can all join under this one umbrella as a family of people that can serve together. So stay tuned. Thanks so much. Have an awesome Sunday and a great week.
Yeah, and I just want to say that I don't know all of you, but I love you, and
We thank
thank you
you
for being here.
and reach out to us anytime.
Yeah.